Once again, in defense of canned foods, have I got a story for you, and I'll be right back in a minute.
I'm overheated, can hardly sleep at night.
Some of these tunes on these intros. How are you? I'm Jan. Welcome to the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Thank you so much for being here. Have I got a story for you? Oh, my word. And this story was relayed to me by my own mother. Many years ago, my mother used to assist in management in a bookkeeping section of a pretty famous restaurant here in New York City. And this was an interesting story. Oh, my word. So, the office where my mother used to do her bookkeeping, management, and all that fun stuff was not too far away from the kitchen area of that particular restaurant. It goes to show people that put down canned stuff, I have to laugh. It's really kind of not funny, but it is kind of laughable. There's a tourist who would come to the restaurant every so often from another state, travel pretty far to get to the restaurant. And one of the reasons why the person loved to eat at that restaurant, well, not because of the superb service, which that restaurant still does provide, I have to say, but because of the fact that they love their particular house soup. Notice I put a quotation, house soup. Okay. How many of you dine out? Probably spending a lot of money, right? But you're not just getting the product, the food. You're getting service. I get it. A break, someone taking care of you, etc. So more or less, you get what you pay for. But this particular individual was unaware with certain restaurant practices. Now, a lot of people put down canned items. We're going to talk about this in a second. But don't forget to do the following. Thank you for smashing down the like button right now. Okay. All right. So here's what happened. So my mother kept hearing this person not far away saying how much they were raving, loving, so much loving a particular soup that the restaurant sells. And there's nothing wrong with what the restaurant does because a lot of restaurants do this. It's totally A-OK. They love this particular soup. Can you please share the recipe? Well, I have to say it is highly unusual when people want to go to the back of the restaurant to get the exact recipe of something that they're eating. I do find that rather interesting. However, this person was so in love with this particular soup. Wow, my mother told me that she couldn't believe it. So the person that was preparing the food kept pointing up to a shelf to this person that kept insisting on the recipe, which was really crazy. So the person preparing the food was merely heating up a particular canned national brand soup. Now, they were not passing it around as if this soup was their own. No, they did not do that. They just included it like in some entrees, with an entree or as an appetizer. No one said made from scratch at this place soup. No, no. No one said that. So this particular person who traveled for miles and miles all over the place didn't understand it. So the gentleman who didn't speak the greatest English kept pointing to this big can on top of a shelf. I don't know how familiar you are with restaurant, restaurant size cans of soups or things of that nature. They're pretty big. Okay, they're pretty large. I think that person's mouth probably dropped to the floor. So of course, we all chuckled at this story that but canned item, okay? The things that people go poo poo about. Remember last week? Okay. So perception is half the battle won. That's the moral of this story, okay? There are some canned products out there at a very reasonable, cost effective price. You have the convenience of the product. You could store it in your stockpile for quite a while. You can weather through the stormy days of literal storms, bad weather, or the days one doesn't feel well, or the days when, well, money is tight. These are great items to stock up on. To think that a restaurant patron would come from out of state for this amazing soup. You could heat up whatever the soup is, whatever it is that you like. Some canned soups are so amazingly comparable. That person wanted to travel from another state to sit down to this can. It's amazing to me that sometimes people couldn't figure out that maybe this soup was from a can. But this is a true story. And my mom relayed it to me, and that really, really happened. How did the person feel about learning it was from a can? That I'll never know. Did that person return to the restaurant in the future? That I'll never know. It will always remain a mystery to me. But I do wonder if it made that person think twice, like, wait a minute, maybe I could even do this. I'm not saying all restaurants do that, but many restaurants and other, established businesses do that as part of their, thing, whatever. Anyway, just something to think about. And I remember, now this is jogging a memory for myself. Many times years ago, my husband and I would go to a diner in Jersey City. One thing about the state of New Jersey, they have tons and tons of old-fashioned diners. Whatever want to go and have good old diner food, that's the place to go. And he was madly in love with that diner's beef barley soup. So, of course, at that time, I was aware of that restaurant story that my mom told me. I didn't say anything. So I ordered it because I just happened to be in the mood of it. Sometimes you just want a light meal. It was like the middle of the day, and we stopped off at that diner. We were shopping in the area, and we stopped off at that diner. And I said, you know what? I wouldn't mind just having a bowl of this wonderful beef barley soup with a couple of slices of toast and call it a meal. You know what I mean? With a nice lemonade or coffee or whatever it is that I ordered, or seltzer, whatever it is. It was delicious. It was delicious. Now, I happen to have known one of the head waitresses at that diner, okay? She worked as a head waitress during the day, but was a college professor at night. Go figure. Got to work your way through things, right? Anyway, so I said, listen, from the kid of a person who, would help manage a restaurant, tell the truth. Is that canned soup? So she walked me to the back of the diner. She pointed up to the shelf. It was delicious. And it happened to be the same old beef barley soup that one could get at the grocery store. So the moral of the story is kudos for canned soups. Kudos for canned products. These are great things to have. I just had to share that story. I'm telling you, I just had to share that story. Have an amazing upcoming weekend. And I will end the weekend on this positive song note. Have a great, great day. Thank you for clicking like and have an amazing, fantastic weekend.